This is Gerardo Del Real with Resource Stock Digest. Joining me today is the CEO of Aztec Minerals, Mr. Simon Dyakowski. Simon, how are you?
Hey, Gerardo, I'm well. Thanks for having me on. We just reported our first batch of drill results, so we're super excited to get investors up to speed on what we're doing at Tombstone and how we're advancing the project.
Let's talk about it because I think there was a bit of misunderstanding, or a better word is a disconnect between what you reported, which was better than anticipated and hoped for, and how the market reacted to it. The headline reads, Aztec receives initial RC drill results from the Tombstone project in Arizona, including 0.94 grams per ton gold and 42.1 grams per ton silver. That's 1.6 grams per ton gold equivalent over 77.7 meters. I would love a brief overview of the results, and then I want to get into why, if you're actually looking, as the company is, to put this in production one day or lead this towards a production decision for somebody to come in and buy this, why this was extremely positive as a start to an initial drill program here, right?
Yeah, great. No, look, so we did have a bit of a sell-off on the news yesterday, and I think that is driven in part by the market. Gold did run up to almost $2,100 an ounce, and silver was up to $29 an ounce. Just 6-8 weeks ago, and that generated a very frothy market where investor expectations were set to exceed those levels, and they have certainly pulled back, and some would consider it to be a corrective phase of the gold trade down to under 1900. So I think a little bit of the sell-off is driven by that. It's a different market. Had we had these results in the middle of the summer in July, for example, we would have gotten a better valuation. But hey, here we are today. We're just under $1,900 an ounce as we're speaking. So it's still a level that it's off its near low of the last few weeks. And it's let's put it into context. When we bought or when Aztec acquired the option to acquire Tombstone, gold was trading between $1,200 and $1,300 an ounce. So we're many hundreds of dollars higher than that level today. So still in a great gold environment. But yeah, the market they didn't love the results. We did bounce back quite a bit later in trading, and maybe I'll just touch on what we saw and why we're so excited about this result. So as you mentioned, our headline hole TR2 returned 77.7 meters of 1.6 grams of gold equivalent. So the Tombstone project, the shallow epithermal gold silver mineralization that we're targeting with this 20-hole initial RC drill program, is mainly concentrated around what's known as the contention pit. This is an old open pit mine that was in operation between 1980 and 1985. And this mine is what is known as a heap leach mine. So it's a low cost, low grade gold silver mine, very common in northern Mexico and in the southwestern United States. And these mines are typically mining gold grades of around 0.4 to 0.6 grams per ton gold. So when we got an intersection back from the assay lab of 0.94 grams gold and 42 grams silver over 77 meters, we were thrilled, because obviously that is, it's almost on the higher end range, if you will,
right,
of what's heap leachable in that part of the world. So we're excited. We're confirming drill holes that were put in the early 90s by USMX, and we're expanding on them. I'll note that the USMX drilling that we're confirming was limited to the center and the north of the pit. So, our first 4 holes were drilled in the center of the pit. We still have results pending from the north of the pit, the south of the pit, and some exploration targets. So, again, I think the expectation for investors is to look to see what we get at the north and the south. And we note that we're building on USMX drilling that was limited regionally to the north and the center, and also in the length of the drill holes. They drilled a number of drill holes that were quite a bit shorter. So they were about 80 to 120 meters. So our holes are going considerably longer than that. And specifically in hole TR2, we did prove the concept that mineralization at the bottom of the pit from surface is looking to be of a very good grade for heap leaching. So, like you mentioned, I'll say it again: 77 meters long intersection of 1.6 grams gold equivalent. And if investors care to look at the news release or on our website to inspect the sections, you'll see that the near surface mineralization was some of the highest grade. And that includes a section of 9 meters of 3 grams gold, 3.18 grams gold, 135 grams silver, or 4.87 grams gold equivalent. So really encouraged by that result. And we also note that the contention open pit, when it was in operation in the 1980s, it was really based on not drilling, but it was based on sampling of old underground mines in the region that were mined at very high bonanza grades by the old timers starting in the 1880s through to the 1940s. So when they started mining and heap leaching this material in the 80s, and of course a different metals pricing environment, they were relying on sampling of tunnels and trenching. They did not have a robust drill program. So we really have our work cut out for us here to prove out a resource, and we're off to a really great start. And again, we're fortunate to be guided by the USMX drilling, but we are cognizant that it was a limited program in the early 90s. So there is, in our opinion, there's very good exploration upside to the south, to the north, and also west of the project. So, while investors at first blush might not appreciate that, I think over the coming news releases and over the coming months and quarters, that business plan will come into focus for everyone.
How are the labs doing in regards to pending assays? I know that they've been busy with everyone I speak with everywhere due to COVID delays. We've seen things take, a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, longer than anticipated. You actually turned around your assays in a relatively short amount of time and pretty closely in line with expectations. I think you were off by maybe a week and a half or so, if I'm not mistaken. But how is that coming along? Are you in touch?
Yeah, we're doing quite well compared to other companies, and it's really driven by the specific lab. So we ship our samples down to Mexico, and then they're shipped up to Canada. So we found a way to hasten the turnaround time somewhat. But like as you point out, we are at the mercy of the busyness of the lab. So we're doing our best. I suppose we could be considered to be slightly delayed from what we had anticipated when we commenced this drill program, but I think all else equal, we're doing quite well, and we have no reason to stray from that guidance going forward. It does look like we're not encountering delays that are too punitive right now.
Excellent. Once this program is concluded and you have all the assays, what are the next steps? I know you have a busy rest of the year and a busy fourth quarter in line.
Yeah, so this program is going to get us very close to the work commitment that we owe to complete the option agreement. So we'll look to, in the fourth quarter of 2020, complete the option agreement in terms of spending. We will form a joint venture with our partners, so a 75%, 25% joint venture. We'll sit down, we'll analyze the results specifically from the 3 spokes of drilling, and then determine the best next steps for a phase 2 drill program, which could include infilling between those spokes, and as well testing other targets once we have results from those. And then later into the year and early into next year, we will look to start drilling core holes. Your listeners will recall that we are pre-collaring 2 deeper targets. We're pre-collaring 2 core holes to test deeper targets. Those will be drilled not with an RC rig, but with a core rig. And we anticipate having that program kicking off by the end of the year or early into next year. And that's to test a different target from the shallow epithermal gold silver heap leachable mineralization that we're drilling right now. That is to test for massive sulfides for CRD, a Taylor style target, Taylor being the deposit residing 40 miles to the southwest of us, that is famous for vaulting Arizona mining from pennies to a buyout of several dollars when they had drilling success there. So we have a target that's based upon that discovery model, below the unconformity, in the limestone, below the sandstone formations, quite a bit deeper to drill. So we will be testing that early next year. So a lot of news flow around the shallow drilling to come, a phase 2 program there, and as well as a deeper drill program with the core rig. So lots to look forward to. We'll be busy. We have our work cut out for us at Aztec.
I'll let you get to it, Simon. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Thanks very much. Great to chat with you again, Gerardo.